I've been meaning to make a video where I try to learn a whole new skill from start to finish, all on camera. I hurt my left thumb recently and was trying to find ways to rest it while still getting work done. I did a quick Google search about one-handed typing and came across this website. It's a regular typing practice website, but it actually includes a special mode for one-handed typing. I was originally intending to learn how to write with my non-dominant hand, but I thought it was so interesting this website actually had a mode for one-handed typing that I had to try it out. Basically, you put your right hand in the middle of the keyboard with your index finger on F and your pinky on J. The tactile bumps on those keys allow you to recenter your hand when you get lost. In the opening videos, they really drive home that you should try your best to never look at the keyboard while typing. The first day was really rough. Not being able to look at your hand, you suddenly realize that you have no idea where the letters are. I'm able to write with both hands at about 95 words per minute, but switching to one hand, I suddenly was completely lost. The app does a good job introducing 2 letters at a time and giving you a few lessons to practice just those letters. But at the end of the first day, I was feeling totally overwhelmed, and I was starting to feel like this was going to be impossible. It seems kind of ridiculous to say that now, but in the moment, when after 30 minutes, you're still struggling to handle the first 8 letters, and you have 18 more to go, it's hard to imagine how it's going to work out. The second day, I came back, and surprisingly, I was able to fairly quickly remember how to type the first 8 keys I had learned. Something that was eating up all of my conscious ability the previous day was suddenly fairly easy. They kept introducing new letters, and again I was starting to reach the limit of what I could keep in my head, but I got a little boost in motivation seeing how far I had come since the previous day. At the beginning of the third day, I learned a few more letters and realized that I had already gotten to all 26 of the letter keys. The app started giving me regular text to type instead of the specific letter exercises I was getting before. Having to type I, O, and P with my pinky was really difficult, especially without looking. Here is a clip of how slow I was at the end of day 3. I had to take a second to think before I typed each letter. On day 4, I started getting into regular practice, just typing normal sentences and trying to get my speed up. The lessons don't let you advance until you've achieved a certain speed. At this point, I was struggling to get over 13 words per minute, though it definitely felt like an achievable goal. Day 5 was more regular practice. I was starting to hit 15 words per minute pretty regularly. The practice was now starting to feel a bit tedious, and the novelty had mostly worn off. I would probably have stopped at this point if I wasn't making this video. This is probably why it's so hard to learn a new skill unless you have some sort of structure around you to keep you going. After a week, I started to feel pretty consistent. Though U, I, O, and P still gave me trouble, I noticed I could type a bit faster if I periodically looked at my hand. This is probably why they call it a crutch. Especially when I made a mistake, it was tempting to look down and reorient myself instead of searching by feel. When I was up against a hard speed goal, looking down at my hand allowed me to clear it more easily, but I was probably missing out on developing a better feel for how to orient myself without looking. Doing this practice made me notice that when I type with 2 hands, there are certain times where I still look down at my hands and don't realize it. Here's my speed at the end of day 7. On day 8, I was still making steady progress. I decided to test my speed using the website 10 Fast Fingers. I was able to get 20 words per minute using the touch typing technique, and 23 words per minute using my old hunt and peck technique. I thought that was pretty impressive, and it seemed clear that I could get a lot faster with the touch typing technique. For the next week, I just did regular practice, and slowly saw my speed and accuracy increase. All the letters I hit with my pinky were still giving me trouble. The site gives you an estimate of your speed for each word you type. I was able to get 30 plus words per minute on certain words that didn't use my pinky much, but overall, I was still getting around 18 to 23 words per minute. On day 16, I was starting to get stuck on the speed requirements for some of the lessons, so I decided to go back to previous lessons and try to get 5 stars on all of them. It was motivating to go back to lessons that I had struggled to complete before and easily get 5 stars. By day 20, I was starting to feel like my skill was plateauing. I was hovering around 25 words per minute, and I wasn't seeing much of an improvement from day to day. For each lesson, I was trying to go as fast as possible, and when I would make a mistake, I would try to quickly undo it and go back to typing at full speed. I decided I would try to slow down and make as few mistakes as possible. Doing this, my speed went down to about 20 words per minute. In a way, it felt like taking a step backwards. This might be why people often get stuck on plateaus. Slowing down to practice accuracy makes you worse, at least in the short term. For 2 days, I focused on accuracy, and so I wasn't able to unlock any new lessons because I couldn't hit the speed requirements. But without consciously trying, I could see my speed was steadily increasing until I eventually made it back to the speed where I plateaued. I kept up my regular practice, and my speed steadily increased. At the end of 30 days, I was able to pretty consistently get 30 words per minute. This is definitely faster than what I could do hunting and pecking. Obviously, this was sort of a silly thing to learn, but it taught me a few things about skill acquisition in general. At the beginning, when you have no idea what you're doing, it will feel really mentally taxing, and it will seem like there's no way you'll be able to get better. But when you come back the next day, you'll likely find it's already way easier. I would go so far as to say that when you're feeling mentally taxed, it's probably a good sign that you're going in the right direction, and you're doing the right kind of practice, and that you will improve quickly. If you're constantly focusing on performance, at some point you will probably hit a plateau. To get over that plateau, you will likely need to switch to more methodical practice, which will initially decrease your performance. But if you stick with it, you will rather quickly come back up and surpass your previous plateau without even thinking about it. I also realized that having a structure in place to force you to practice is also really important. I practiced this skill every day for 30 days straight. I often didn't feel like it, but I kept going so I could make this video. Going forward, I'm going to see if I can apply these lessons to more useful skills. Wish me luck. If you thought this video was interesting, or you think other people would find it interesting, consider giving it a like. Thanks for watching.